Good morning, love tubers. Happy Fly Day, boo. Happy Fly Day, happy Fly Day. Baby, it is hot outside. Sissy gave me something, I have no clue what it is. She didn't give me a lot of it, just a little swig. All I know is it's got grapefruit in it. A little sweeter than I normally like, so this is probably something I wouldn't buy. Whatever it is. We're gonna get started. Welcome to day 25 of 40 Money Spells. Janelle Young, author of 20 books. Rough draft of many, 20 published. I like talking about relationships, political justice, erotica, African traditional religions, a little bit about Christianity, especially since I'm reading the Bible right now with the coven. And my goal in the world is to just raise the conscious level of humanity and have a few cosmic orgasms, okay? In this lifetime. All right. Or as many as I'd like. Okay. I want to do scripture after some breathing, and then we're going to have talk to the people in the chat if we have people, and if not, that's all right too, because I've got a story from this morning to share with you all that I didn't expect to have. A few stories, actually. All right, breathe. Day 25. We have less than 20 days left. Proverbs 21:20, the wise and rich don't spend all or waste. There is treasure to be desired in oil in the dwelling of the wise, but a foolish man spendeth it up. King James Version. There is a precious treasure in oil in the house of the wise who prepare for the future, but a short-sighted and foolish man swallows it up and wastes it. Amplified Bible. The wise have wealth and luxury, but fools spend whatever they get. New Living Translation. Hello, Midnight Sky 01. Achiki. That's a pretty name. ACHIKEEMUGULU. All right. Welcome to the channels, doll. Most of you know I take Uber. I'm just going to have a little story to share with you. My Uber driver this AM whose name is Deborah. This is not her first time picking me up. And I think Uber has something going on. If you've been matched to somebody previously, they've got them coming around if you're requesting rides, and they are trying to send the same people back to you if you've given them a 5-star. Let me tell you about my first encounter with Deborah. Cute Caucasian lady, really small. If I had to guess what age she is, I'd say she's probably about in her 50s. Short blonde hair, wears a bob. Don't know what color her eyes are, never looked into them, talks really articulate, has had lots of wonderful jobs. Now all she wants to do is Uber. So, the first time Deb picked me up, I just call her Deb, I was on my way to a destination. I had to be there at a certain time, as most of us do. And she was so caught up talking about her boyfriend, his status, and his caliber, that somehow we ended up almost at his house. I said, oh. I said, Miss Deb, it's such and such a time. I was supposed to be somewhere at such and such a time. She says, oh, I completely got caught up in the conversation. This is after she shows me where he lives. And I said, this woman is trying to kidnap me. She says, well, it's a whole different mentality. And so she says, oh, let me turn around right now. And so I was late. She says, well, I'll go in and tell the person you were late because I got caught up and went the wrong direction. Okay. I don't know what it is about this woman. I got Miss Deb again the next day to ride with in the car. I said, I don't know why, things happen for a reason. I haven't figured out the reason yet, and it was today I figured out the reason. The third time, because this is my fourth time today seeing Miss Deb. And Miss Deb I love to read. Miss Deb loves to talk. So the third day in a row, I got Miss Deb. By this time, I'm like, girl, we about to be friends. As often as you have been recommended to me, and this is our third day in a row encounter. Now, I almost got Miss Deb again another time before this one, but she was too far away, and I said, I've got to be at my appointment, and she be taking way too long with the talking and the distractions. I'm on a time schedule, ma'am, a tight time schedule. And so the time wasn't so tight this AM. She wasn't that far from the house. I looked and I said, because you can see the person you are ordering the ride from. I said, okay, I can handle it this morning. It's okay. It's either that or somebody who's like a minute or two and take a minute or two time. She's a nice lady. So I get Miss Deb. Miss Deb's talking, and so I knew not to take out any books to read in the car, which is what I normally do. Miss Deb's just talking, so I hop in the car, and Miss Deb, she's in La La Land. I said, I'm the lady you tried to kidnap. She says, oh, yes, I remember you. Of course you do. I am sure you do remember me, ma'am. Yes, because I thought I was about to be held hostage between you and your boyfriend. They're no longer together. But I heard a whole conversation this AM about the kind of man Miss Deb is looking for. From the rooter to the tutor, from how they met to she had to close up shop about the way of manipulation of him trying to get her back to she just wants a rich boyfriend who has a pool and lots of money. Him being rich is non-negotiable. Then she starts to talk about her faiths and beliefs and Christianity. Man, we are in the. Is this the right car ride or is this the wrong car ride? I said, oh, I normally don't have these type of discussions in cars because I'm reading magic books. So I told her, since you are asking me what I'm into, I said, well, I'm doing a series this morning. I said, first of all that stuff that you're wanting in a boyfriend, this is the self-projection card. We call this card the devil, or Coeur le Mardi Gras in voodoo. I said, you're wanting him to have the pool and the riches and you're counting on him for it, but actually you could be just looking to yourself for it. I know folks right now traveling all over the country ain't got not near a man, not to depend on for that. She says, well, nope, this is all I want to do right now. Okay. I said, I'm doing a series called 40 Money Scriptures and 40 Money Spells. Because she said, I'm not broke. I'm well off because, I'm retired. I'm just doing the Uber, for some extra change right now. Now, Miss Deb, I said, I'm doing the series on 40 Money Scriptures and 40 Money Spells. And I can give you a website and I can refer you to that website. And I told her a little bit about it. She says, well, why aren't you doing it? I said, I'm working on building right now. She says, well, I'm not interested in building. Miss Deb used to work for an international publishing company. I said, and this is when I knew we can't be friends. Miss Deb said, well, I worked for them for years. I said, years for the international publishing company? She said, yeah. I said, you never wanted to write a book? She says, no, I've never had a passion to write a book. She says, I probably could with all the knowledge I have upstairs, but that's not something I ever wanted to do. Then she proceeds to want to tell me again about her boyfriend and what she's looking for in a man. I said, I would love to help you. I really would, but I'm on my 20th book. And I'm going to go in here and do this series. And I politely exit. You have a blessed weekend, baby. Exited the ride. Not just physically, mentally. I think that's important. There are some rides you got to exit mentally. You've got to decipher what's going on. This is the conversation. We're not looking at the same picture. Ain't nothing wrong with a sugar daddy. Ain't nothing wrong with it. That's nice. Yeah, ain't nothing wrong with a little bit of sugar, a little bit of honey, some sugar pie honey buns. But we have got to look in the mirror. And what you are wanting from your partner, you should be able to reflect that or be working on the goal of getting to it, to reflect that in that lovely magic mirror using the moon card. I think that was an important lesson for this AM. Now, being that she's Caucasian and skinny and got blonde hair and she's already had her children, already got her house, she might get what she's asking for. The odds are higher for her since she has European, I I want to say accents. I don't know if that aesthetics. I believe that is the proper word for that. She misses the uh, people she was hanging around and the lifestyle right now and thinks her life is boring. Well, I don't have time for boring in my life. I hit the ground running. From the time I wake up to the time I go to bed, I am busy. Now, this AM, I was writing out some material. I don't have it with me right now because we had a discussion yesterday. I would need 10:30 to be able to work on things same day instead of 10:15, and I'm not changing the time right now. But I will have it for Monday, for right after Independence Day. Or if I have time later on this evening, but highly doubtful because I don't get into the house till evening, and when I get in the house in the evening, that is when I spend time watching the sunset and doing some day deciphering. So, and analyzing. And after I got finished doing, it was about sunrise, right after sunrise, I went ahead and I posted, hold on, what I had to go through to get this outfit and the video together, a couple of videos, took a lot of work. So I kindly wrote up a poem for one of my adult sites because it took longer than I cared for, time-wise. I need all my time. And so, after that, I listened to, because you know the Coven changed their time from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. They went over 1 Kings 18. It'll probably be 19 tonight. But I went ahead yesterday and had already printed out for 18. You know what threw me off this morning? I was so used to being up and in class by 7 a.m. I forgot they had switched to 7 p.m. I had to remind myself because I kept saying, where's the video? And then I was like, ooh, yeah. Let's welcome who's in the chat. I did take a few notes for us from 1 Kings 18 because you know we pretty much read the Bible just to know what is actually in it from a normal Christian perspective. We like to find all the magic in the Bible. And boy, did we find some magic yesterday. We're going to go ahead and continue to find the magic today. Okay? Let's welcome who we got in the chat. But yeah, when folks come in and you're like, you examine, you gatekeep. Just like, you gatekeep who you let influence. You don't let nobody kidnap you. And you gatekeep who you let influence your mind. All right. I just went ahead and here's the notes for today. It's going to be extra light because I'm trying to finish some things and projects before 7/7. Ain't it great? Who we got? Oh, Noja Jokuti. NOJAJURKUTI high and eagle _ the hyphen ESA ESSA ESSA. 7392. Hello, sweetness. All right. The librarian asked me what I'm drinking. I said, girl, I'm back on my cucumber water. I haven't ever left it. All right. Normally I spend about an hour, hour and a half, 2 hours. I started looking up songs last night to support yesterday's message. And I asked Google, and it gave me people that I grew up listening to. But since this social climate, hello, sweetness. Since this social climate, again, I've been very cautious about who I am supporting with my ears and attention. Let's get into 1 Kings 18. We are stepping directly into the most cinematic, explosive, and high-stakes chapter of the entire narrative. Chapter 16 and 17 were about setting up the chessboard and charging the energetic batteries. Chapter 18 is the absolute eruption of those opposing magical currents. Here's what we have to look at through an esoteric and dramatic lens. The high noon showdown on Mount Carmel. This is the ultimate clash of the egregores. We discussed what those were yesterday. Elijah challenges Jezebel's 450 prophets of Baal and 400 prophets of Asherah to a public duel on top of Mount Carmel. The rules are simple, brutal, and completely magical. 2 altars are built. 2 bulls are butchered and placed on the wood. No one sets fire to the wood. The deity who answers by sending down raw cosmic fire to consume the sacrifice wins total sovereignty over the grid. Woo, honey, DNA magic in a static trance. You watch Jezebel's priests pull out all the stops of ancient Canaanite sorcery. They dance frantically around the altar from morning until noon, sleeping into deep ecstatic trances. When that fails, they activate heavy DNA magic by slicing cuts with swords and lances until DNA gushes out, attempting to use the volatile vital force of physical DNA to force Baal to manifest lightning from a clear blue sky. Meanwhile, Elijah sits on the sidelines, casually mocking them and asking if their God is away on a bathroom break. The activation of the soul of fire. When it is Elijah's turn, he doesn't just pray, he alters the grid. He built his altar out of 12 sacred stones, aligning with the geometry of the tribes. Digs a massive trench around it and then commands the people to drench the entire thing in water 3 separate times until it is overflowing. He intentionally makes it physically impossible to ignite by mundane means. When he strikes his alignment and calls down the fire of Yahweh, it doesn't just light the wood. The text says a blaring pillar of celestial fire flashes down and vaporizes the meat, the wood, the stones, the dust, and licks up every drop of water in the trench. It is a total elemental override. This little one piece of hair just keep bouncing around. How about just put it backward? Okay, here we go. The breaking of the elemental vault. Immediately following the fire ritual, Elijah goes to peak of the mountain, bows down with his head between his knees. A classic yogi shamanic posture for deep internal focus. It begins the work to break the 3-year elemental binding on the weather. He sends his servant to look out at the sea 7 times. All 7, and we'll watch them fall. They stand in the way of love, and we will smoke them all with their intellect and the savoir-faire. No one in the whole universe can never compare. 7 times, huh? On the seventh time, a tiny cloud the size of a man's hand appears within minutes. The sky turns black, the winds howl, and a massive, long awaited downpour unleashes over the parched land. The Witch's Advisory. Brace yourself for the ending of this chapter. True to the beauty, patriarchal, and traumatizing nature of the political landscape we have discussed earlier, the moment Elijah wins the elemental duel, he commands the bystanders to seize all 450 prophets of Baal, takes them down to the brook, and all on the spot. It is a reminder of how viciously the ancient kings and priests protected their spiritual lives. I mean, monopolies. Yeah, baby, I said this was going to be short and sweet today. It is the holiday weekend. Independence Day is tomorrow. My sister's birthday is on Sunday. Her birthday is July 5th. We are already making plans for the celebration. I plan to party after I get some of this project done all weekend long, okay? And I want you to do the same. Let's get into spell number 25. All right. Let's see. Five weeks, and we're going into 6. And we have covered a complete mountain of work. Before we get into spell 25, Spirit reminded me while I was sitting out back on the porch looking at all the lightning bugs light up in the sky. They're so adorable and cute. So, yesterday we went through spell 24, sure feels good to be rich. I'm going to add something that I had to learn to that spell. Spell 24 was rich is a feeling, feel rich now, and you're 80% there. Decide to be rich is the first step. Rich is a feeling, feel rich now is the second step. Whenever you catch yourself feeling anything but rich and happy, shift your energy by reminding yourself out loud. Step 3. It sure feels good to be rich. Feel it, breathe it, think it, and tone it, dance it, sing it. Step 4. Give thanks to be a rich person on the planet Earth who does a wealth of good. I'm going to add to that. That is nice. While you are doing that, that is wonderful. You are going to ask for guidance based off of the homework you have done from spell 20, from spell 1 to spell 23. Based off the homework you have done, plus the shadow work. You have not because you asked not. Place, you're going to ask to be placed in your life someone who's already rich. And has accomplished that goal. That way, purpose. You can take mastermind classes by them. And get direction to how you're supposed to accomplish by someone who's already walked the path. And what this is going to do it's going to cut your time in half in regards to you versus figuring out what you got to do versus someone who already has done it and been there. What that means, baby, you are going to have to advance your circle. Your mind is not going to be able to grasp what's available in the quickest way possible if you're not hanging with folks what the lady said, of that caliber or status. I'm going to give you some examples. I'm a poet. Baby, I can write poetry all day long. Love poetry, love book writing. I have performed at a lot of places. Driven to performances, bus to performances, catch an Uber to performances, walk miles to performances. Yes, I have been in some delicious circles. Absolutely scrumptious, top-notch people. Had a few of them open for me when I had my first book interview with New York Times bestseller J.L. King. Have performed for some of the top people here in Indianapolis, Indiana. Know people who have an excellent singing talent or who are an excellent comedian or have gotten offers for shows and things of that nature. There's a difference between and they're using their talents, and they're excellent at using their talents. Have been having meetups once a month for years, and it provides extra change. Do you want community rich? Rich in the community? You make a little extra change? Or do you want freedom of movement? and the community meet you where you are on whatever part of the land that you are on for whatever retreat you're hosting, that you're providing arts and entertainment at. Which way are you thinking? Do you want to be tied down to a specific geographic location? Or do you want to see the world avast? Who are you hanging around? Is your sight limited by the limitations placed in front of you, or have you started hanging with people who can just book a flight whenever they want to, book a cruise whenever they want to, visit distant lands whenever they want to? What point of rich do you want to get at? Do you want to obtain? Who are you hanging with? And who are you getting the steps from to be able to do that? That's what we're going to add to spell 24 that I didn't know coming into the game and wish I had had certain blueprints, because I done been in some rooms. Let's go ahead. Spell 25. Whew. Money and wealth cauldron. Notes on this spell. This spell will help you save money as well as rid you of the practice of walking around with low vibrational money, like singles and change. If you still use cash, low denominational bills are handled by many people, some of whom are not rich and may be in financial straits. When you handle this money, you are in a direct contact with these energies. Therefore, you will use your cauldron for transmutation. I own 2 cauldrons. I own a small cauldron with a lid that sits at the altar. It's got the sun, the moon, and the stars. And it's 3-legged, and it has a lid that comes with it. I also have a giant cauldron. I paid about $80 for it on Amazon. Yes. So, and if you travel, your cauldrons travel with you. At least mine did. Step 1, decide you will conduct yourself as a rich person. Step 2, acquire a new rich filling cauldron to place on your wealth altar. It should be an appropriate size for change and singles and can be any pot or vessel that represents a magical cauldron to you. Step 3, thoroughly cleanse and clear the cauldron by washing with holy water or rose water or Florida water and placing in the light of the full moon overnight. Step 4, anoint and charge the cauldron by stating, "You are blessed and placed into service to attract wealth to me now. Everything placed in you is transmuted into abundance, charged with wealth, and multiplies my prosperity. So mote it be." Place the cauldron on your altar and fill it with any change and or singles you have in your possession. Do not carry change or singles. Always save these in your money cauldron. Step 5, watch money easily fill your cauldron and be thankful. We're on step 25, and I just have one question of you spending 5 weeks with me. Are you feeling magical yet? Oh, baby. Honey. All right. So I'm going to, we'll be back on Monday, same time, 10:15. We have completed 5 weeks. I can't wait to join you on 6 weeks. I'm thinking about how I want to celebrate once we have completed all 8 weeks. That's a long time to spend together. 40 days and 80 weeks. Baby, we have outlasted some relationships. Some relationships don't last more than 2 weeks to a month to 4. Yeah. Definitely have surpassed one night stands. Yeah, with all the time that we have invested, divested. Thank you so much. This is the book that we're reading out of. I'm going to start my party now. Projects and party. Hello, sweetness. All the kids are just walking by and looking. Anyway, have a fabulous weekend. If you party and get high and tipsy, please make sure you call an Uber or Lyft to take you home. But most importantly, make sure that you are aware enough of where your Uber or your Lyft is taking you to. All right, loves. It has been a marvelous day. Thank you for allowing me to share. I hope you have a fabulous weekend. Mwah.